Retail Week is brought to you by Nutrisphere N, Nitrogen Fertilizer Manager, protecting your nitrogen from all three forms of loss. Hello, welcome again to another edition of Crop Life Retail Week. Paul Schrimpf back with Eric Sfiligoj. A few things going on here and there. Last week, actually two things happened last week. Okay. When I was at EFC Systems in Nashville, I went and saw my daughter, which I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
As I was leaving, her car was dying. So we went to the car repair place, and it was declared dead.
Aww.
So I had 2 days to both attend this meeting and help my daughter buy a car, both of which I successfally executed.
Yay.
So kudos for Dad. Good, I get good Dad points this month. But the meeting was also really good. EFC runs a terrific meeting. They have it's both a user group thing, and also they spend a lot of time talking about what's happening in the markets. They bring in some outside speakers. I got to go and actually present a video that we showed at our innovation series in February of Ron Farrell talking about some of the challenges and opportunities facing retail, and how precision technology and precision agriculture practices will help retailers to be more competitive, to deliver better service, and so forth, and some of the things that they need to focus on. So we got a really good response from that. There's a good Southeast retailers down there, friends at Tennessee Farmers and Agri-AFC in southern states, and it was a good crew. I got to see Teddy Beckley from Winfield, who got to present on some highfalutin technologies, and how some of the outside technologies are going to affect agriculture into the future, and it was good. It was a good meeting overall. Look forward to bringing some of that knowledge to bear next time we talk.
How was the mood of the folks in terms of what's going on in the marketplace in general?
The mood at the meeting was actually, again, it's pretty upbeat. You get to these kind of user conferences, and I think folks in general are feeling pretty good. Conversations I had, I think folks again see what we're seeing, that maybe we're hitting the bottom, and that 18 is start recovery, and we'll see that kind of going forward. But nothing really, I think, earth-shattering. But again, those kind of meetings do tend to get people kind of rah-rah and upbeat. So
okay.
Very positive.
Very good. Well, Paul, I just want to give a little props to our viewers out there. Thank you very much for knowing your stuff, I will say. I know in our July issue, which should be hitting mailboxes as we speak, we have a story talking about what Crop Life 100 retailers are seeing happen in the marketplace mid-year. And one of the questions we asked was regarding crop acreage. As you might remember, Paul, the USDA back in March predicted that corn and soybean acreage would basically be dead even, about 90 million acres each. But when we got back results from our mid-year survey, about 74% of those respondents said that the crop acreage in their areas seemed to be settling out the way they had the year before. And lo and behold, we found out today that when the planting numbers came out, it looks like corn acreage was down slightly, about 90 million acres planted this year, but soybean acreage, which should have been around 90, was only at 88 million acres. So again, up and respectively down a little, but based on what the 100 folks were telling us, pretty much in line with what we saw in 2016.
Well, there you go. The retailers, once again, they have their finger on the pulse.
They do
appreciate your help in getting that information to it.
Yeah, and very good. And we'll have a very important story to talk about goings on in California after this break.
Over the 9+ years, they've done over 400 trials, side-by-side replicated trials, and we've shown that 90% of the time we've had a positive yield response with Nutrisphere. So 90% of the time a crop producer out of those 400+ trials could expect a positive response. That positive response is average 10 bushel an acre across all 400+ trials.
Welcome back. Well, I know, Eric, you were mentioning something about a new development, and I know it's glyphosate, and it's California, so it can't be good.
Yeah, actually, Paul, we found out, of course, that California, as of July 7th, so by the time this video hits the marketplace, is going to be listing glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup and several other products that we know and love in the crop protection field, as a possible carcinogenic, cancer-causing chemical. And what that will mean is that 1 year from now, possibly, products that contain glyphosate sold in the state of California will have to have a warning label. Now, obviously, Monsanto disagrees with this decision and has appealed a court decision made against it, and is promising to fight. Basically, their stand is that glyphosate does not cause cancer.
Right, and it's just continuing ongoing debate since I guess since the international ruling or
Correct.
international discussion about it being a possible carcinogen, and just those reverberations continue.
Yeah, and of course, the fear is if California does this, that other states might be inclined to follow. So it's something we're going to have to be watching over the next couple of months as the court proceedings continue.
Yeah, absolutely. And just one quick mention is our Precision Ag Professional Innovation Series meeting on August 28th is. The agenda is pretty close to set. We have a couple of panelists to fill in, but if you want to go to precisionaginnovation.com, you find out a little bit more about it. It's August 28th in Champaign, Illinois, and we're looking forward to having a really good, solid day of education, information, and if you're so inclined, the Farm Progress Show starts the day after, so you can make it a really, really full, kind of robust travel experience. With lots of education. So that concludes this edition of Crop Life Retail Week. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Thank you to this week's video sponsor, Nutrisphere N Fertilizer Manager from Verdesian Life Sciences.